In late October 2025, I did a round trip of 3,300 kilometres to travel to Tenterfield in northern New South Wales, not far from the Queensland border. There were two essential stops for me: Gunnedah, where the breaker had definitely been and spent some time in Gunnedah, and Tenterfield, where Major Thomas, the defence lawyer for the trials of the bushveld carbineers, lived for many years and is buried. But along the way, in north-western New South Wales, I was determined to document as many monuments as I could. So these episodes are covering that road trip. They follow a format. Anything along the way that I found of interest that I filmed. As I approach the towns where the monuments are, I like to read out a snippet from the book that I use, The War with Johnny Boer, just to give you guys an idea of the scenery as we approach these towns, and then to show you the Boer War monuments. And I hope you enjoy them. So come with me on the map. We start in Deniliquin. Right, they've got a big ute muster, or buckies you guys call it, this weekend. All the people in their buckies get together and hoon around. Off to Narrandera. Along the way we stop at Jerilderie, where the Ned Kelly gang went into New South Wales and held up the bank. Now the places that are marked with a highlighter, that's where there's Boer War monuments. So Narrandera, Cardamom, going up that way, we're stopping off in Harden, then we're going up here, up, all the way to Bathurst, right, up through Orange to Dubbo. We've got rhinoceros in Dubbo, and then we head over here to Gunnedah. Gunnedah is Boer War country. That's where Breaker Morant was arrested, in Gunnedah. Tamworth, they got the Country Western Festival. They have the Elvis weekend every year. Up to Armidale, more, but where we're heading for, up to there. We've got Goondiwindi over there, but we're not heading that way. We're going to Tenterfield. I've lost it on the map. There it is. Tenterfield, okay. So that's 1,666 kilometres. Hi everybody, hello friends, your friend Cherikota off on another adventure, a mini road trip. Well, not a mini, this is a massive road trip. I don't think I've ever done a road trip like this. I might have, but I can't remember. But I'm looking at doing, I think, around 1,600 kilometres to destination Tenterfield. Time is a traveller, Tenterfield saddler, turn your head. Now, so we're going to be entering New South Wales today, but first I'm going to stop and wash the car. I like to travel with a clean car. First stop is Deniliquin. Now we haven't. First of all, I reckon I'm the only person in 60,000 years or so of human settlement in Terra Australis that has ever gone on a road trip following Boer War monuments. When I show you my map later, I've highlighted in green highlighter all the Boer War monuments in New South Wales. Probably not all of them, but all that was on the monument website. No other nut job has planned a road trip around Boer War monuments. But hey, you got to have a hobby, right? And I was always one for being kind of unique. I bought this Morris 1000, 1950s Morris 1000 one time, about 30 years ago, maybe more, and reminded me of a noddy car, so I went and got it spray painted at the paint shop, in just like, you know, a noddy car, yellow and red. Looked gorgeous. We had a little party for it, but that's the way old Chetty Cother rolls, is always trying to be unique. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the road trip up through central New South Wales and looking at some stuff along the way. Now we've already got a bit of a hiccup, and it could make life difficult. That is that the monument website is down again. I did write down the towns that had the monuments, but I didn't write the address of the monuments. I should have, but well, how was I to know that the monument website would go down again? So it was down a few weeks ago, then came back online, and I checked this morning, and it's down again. But I was able to Google the monument in Deniliquin, so I've got an idea of where that is, but it's going to make it a little more difficult than what it could have been, as far as finding these monuments, right? So yeah, we're off to Heathcote, wash the car, and then point this little car north and see how we go. I've got the swag in the back, got the inflatable mattress, a couple of pillows, and we'll see how we go. Right, I'll be showing you people along the way a few things. I know we are going through Jerilderie, which is Ned Kelly legend. The Kellys raided New South Wales one time, only once, and they held up the town of Jerilderie, so there's still a lot of stuff in Jerilderie. I'm hoping the tourist place is open. I might be able to get a few tea towels or a Ned Kelly helmet or something, but being a Sunday, I don't know about that. Alright, talk soon. Chris, I know you're in Italy, so I'm on my way up north myself, but not as far as Italy. I thought you'd be interested in this. So this is the site of the Greytown prisoner of war camp. There's over 250 Italians here that were captured in North Africa. So they were all around here. You can see the remains of a building here, right? But all through this area is the remains of the prisoner of war camp with the Italians from Italia. They would have been quite happy to have been settled down here. They were cutting wood for the hospitals down in Melbourne, and a lot of them stayed after the war, so I thought you'd find that interesting. That's Greytown. If you ever come up to see me, I'll bring you here. But the reason I stopped here was there was a tortoise on the road, and somehow he'd been flipped. And this guy's just picked up off the road. He was flipped over. I can't see any damage to his exterior. He's in there. He's tucked in real tight. I put a bit of water on him. He just pissed on me. So I've put him out in the forest, put him down there. There's a creek. Maybe that's where he was heading when he flipped. So, right, done my good deed. Saved a tortoise. And let's keep going. Just listening to some Van Halen before I stopped, so let's get back into that. Yeah, guys, I've done 250 kilometres since I left home. We're well into New South Wales. We're just outside of Deniliquin, so if you haven't seen these videos before, this is what I normally do, mainly because I get a kick out of it. But if you guys enjoy it, so be it. Otherwise, yeah, it's just the way it rolls. So what happens is when I start approaching a monument, or a town that has a monument, in this case it's Deniliquin, when I'm about 10 kilometres out, I start filming just the scenery, or to give you an idea of the terrain and the scenery around these towns. and I used to read out the letters from the front, the memories of the guys from my district that went to the Boer War. I went through all their letters. So now I moved on to The War with Johnny Boer, that book that I bought. It's 2 years, I'm getting through it, I'm nearly finished it. But I like to read those little stories. So yeah, for the next 5 or 10 minutes, sit back, get a beverage, saddle up, buckle in, and we'll hear another cracking tale from The War with Johnny Boer as we approach Deniliquin. Have a look. From the 6th of December 1901, the 5th Victorian Mounted Rifles in the Eastern Transvaal were in constant touch with commandos under Boer Generals Louis and Chris Botha. This lasted for nearly 3 weeks. Stebbins recorded this period, including the Battle of Glenfillan, in a series of letters to his mother from the Veld, 10 miles northeast of Wakkerstroom, on the 25th and 26th of December 1901. Quote, "We've been trekking and fighting right up to Christmas Eve. In fact, just as we were going to pitch camp and thought we'd seen the last of the Boers for 2 or 3 days at least, our rear guard and flankers were the only ones to come into camp, when we heard firing on our left and rear. About 40 or 50 Boers had followed up and were trying to cut off a small party of flankers, etc., but they had no luck. The colonel had his eyes open as usual, and my company was ordered to gallop back and take up a position to support them, which we did in good time. Our flanking group of 4 men about 1,000 yards out from us were having a very warm time of it. 2 of their horses got away during the firing and were galloping about between them and the enemy. On 23rd, the day before yesterday, we had a great engagement lasting all day. We left our camp at 1 a.m. in the morning and fell across the Boers' camp just as daylight was breaking. We got so close that we captured their lookout post. Then the game started in earnest, fighting through about 9 miles of exceedingly rough country. The Boers fighting a rearguard action all the way, which they can do to perfection and are second to none. After the day's fighting, night comes on, and they all break up into small parties and scatter in all directions through the hills, meeting 15 or 20 miles off the following morning, which of course knocks our troops out altogether. Our only satisfaction is that we always bring home some prisoners every time. I think we have 15 Boers out of that day's work, besides killing a few. There were many little incidents of note that day. For instance, Captain Chomley carried one of his dismounted men on his horse out of action, which was considered by those present a very plucky action. We started fighting at daybreak and charged them from ridge to ridge for 8 or 9 miles. The right half battalion did some splendid work, being in the centre and the advance guard during the first part of the morning, while we, the left half, supported them. Colonel Jarvis of Plumer's column worked on the left flank with 2 guns, and Colonel Colvin of the same worked on the right flank with 2 guns, but we could not get round quickly enough to outflank them. The country was so rough. Well, we chased them about 5 or 6 miles when E&H companies took up the running and advanced. We started off from a good high ridge as soon as the guns had taken up a position and opened fire on the Boers, who held the ridge in front about 2 miles. Any man who has had the pleasure of riding in one of these gallops under the muzzles and cannonading of your own guns can claim of having had the best ride of any horseman or sportsman going. Fox hunting is not in it. As soon as our horses are below the line of fire, bang, 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 shoo, 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 pom, 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 pom. Shells of all sizes screeching away over your head. Up go the horses' heads with legs extended, and away they go, half fear, half excitement. No spurs required in this little gallop. Presently we reached the bottom of the valley, soft marshy ground, 2 or 3 horses over, stuck in the mud, up again following on behind, and away up the kopje we go. A few ping-pongs coming from the Boers, but the effect of our guns and the straight charging unnerves them, and away they go, leaving the ridge to us as sole proprietors for the time being, and we manage to get a few volleys in from 600 to 1,000 yards when they are again in position. Presently the guns had galloped up to the position we hold and another shelling takes place. So we push along until our horses are completely knocked up for the day. We camped on the last ridge called Fanskorp. The Boers had camped 4 or 5 miles away, and I suppose were glad to camp, for we turned them out long before breakfast and kept them going. The next morning we were out again before daylight and on the move against them. A very thick fog or mist hung around, and we could not see more than 50 yards around us till about an hour and a half after daylight, when we got another quick move on, but all we could find was a few scattered Boers here and there. The rest had muzzled off into the hills about 7 or 8 miles off. We changed our direction, joined the convoy again, and marched towards Wakkerstruum, where we are now. Now, I'm in the heart of Deniliquin. This is a big weekend for them, or they wouldn't know it. But they have their ute muster. Australians call... are they pickups? They call them utes. Oh shit, hang on. Okay, a bit close. Right. Yeah, I saw some monuments here, but I've been driving around a bit. I did find that I had actually made some notes of where these monuments are, so... oh man, we might be in luck. And this looks like soldier country. I can see a digger now. Of course I'm wearing my pink singlet. This is the one I bought on the first day I was in South Africa. Gould took me shopping. Got some World Wars here. That'd be about right. But I do see a bit of a plinth. This guy's come back from Vietnam. Vietnam. Have a look through there. That looks like a Boer War to me. So it's after 2 o'clock, 2:15. I was going to get something to eat. In Jerilderie. Excuse me, dust. It's quite hot. It's about 31 degrees. Hasn't been this hot for a long time. Oh no. What's this about? John Warren. No, that's not me. Okay. Well, as happens. Oh, but I do need to use the toilet. Alright, well, we might have to walk around the garden a bit. I guess it's okay. Bit of exercise. Oh. I reckon it's in these gardens. The corner of Cressy and Edwards Street, I wrote. So, seems to be over there like some red algae on their lake. It's not nice at all. Alright, well, we'll turn off and I'll go to the loo and then we'll start looking for this bloody monument. Okay, folks, I've wandered the park and given up. Then I sat at a bench, looked on the map where Edwards Street is, and I saw where it crossed Cressy Street. Then coming up to this corner of the park, I saw what looks like a lamp in the middle of a roundabout. So spirits are now recharging, ebullient. This is now an arts centre. Used to be an old church. The Art Society. But anyway, yeah, look at this. This looks to me very much like a Boer War monument, which means I can get some photos, let Brian know. I didn't have to go to the RSL to ask directions. Oh, man. Got these, call them Crocs. They're good, but you get stones in them. Oh. There's a visitor centre. They would have known. Oh. There we are. This is a beauty. It's a long way from the other war monuments. So I might go and get some thongs while I'm here. Look at this though. There's some young folk over there. I hope they don't give me a hassle. Oh. Okay. All right. Well, this monument was made in Bendigo. It's come up a long way. The Roll of Honour. Captain Howe, Lieutenants Landau, Weir, Burrows, Rundle, Sergeant Major, and the Corporals, Ammer and Nixon. Troopers, quite a few of them. It's nice and well maintained. It's got the classic lantern at the top. I wonder if it's lit up at night. Elandsburg. Don't know too much about that. December the 6th. The inhabitants of Deniliquin to the memory of Trooper James Mason of Deniliquin, killed fighting for King and Country at Elandsburg in South Africa on December the 6th, 1901. Well, yeah, that's right, because Queen Victoria's passed on and her son's taken the throne. So it's King and Country at that stage. Some more people, more troopers. That's a beauty. It's a real beauty. I'll get some photos. Now.
The Melbourne Age, Victoria, the 24th of December, 1902. Deniliquin, Tuesday. This evening, a lamp erected in memory of Trooper Jas Mason, one of the local volunteers who was killed in the Elandsburg engagement in South Africa last December, was unveiled by the Mayor, Councillor Kelly, in the presence of a large gathering. A number of soldiers under Captain R. Howe and Lieutenant J. Weir, headed by the local brass band, followed by the children attending the various schools, marched in procession from the town hall to the memorial, which is erected at the junction of Cressy and Edward Streets, where the ceremony was performed. The memorial, on which a tablet commemorating the death of Trooper Mason, also bears tribute to the 7 local volunteers who were honoured with various commissions, and gives the roll of about 30 volunteers from the district who took part in the war.
Up these purple, I think they're called zinnias. They might even be a weed, but yeah, well, that was a fantastic monument. But I did notice these 3 ladies sitting up here. Let's find out what they're about. Then I'll go over to HQV Bargains, get some thongs. Did bring some, but they're not comfortable there. Fancy pantsy thongs. You know, like those ladies. What are you doing, girls? The 3 muses, Waring Gardens. Years of grime and dirt has hidden the true beauty of the 3 muses. In 1996, Mr. Marchetti, he restored the statues because each statue weighs about 500 kilograms. It took 12 months. So they've been moved here. They weren't always here. They used to be on a Grecian pedestal, But we don't know much about the Three Muses. Well, they were made in Italy. Right. So we don't know much. Oh, here we go. The Three Muses represent the philosophies of learning, science and art. They were sculptured in northern Italy in 1891. Right? How did they end up here? How did the girls get all the way over here? But each girl is 500 kilos in weight. Okay. So... okay. So the girls need to do a bit of dieting. Right.